Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Let's
Good
continue with,
morning, sir.
yes. So let's continue with where we left off yesterday, that is Nagaland Vision 2030. Now, this is important, especially for your mains exam, because mains exam, we don't know from where they will ask the question, but we know that they'll be asking only from Nagaland section. So Nagaland Vision 2030, this is like a document that you should be well versed with. So before we start this, do you have a copy of this book, of this document?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so right, so this is not a big document, maybe around 100 pages. It lists down all the visions, 17 visions. Okay, then if you have this, for those of you who don't have a copy of this, I tried searching the internet, but I don't think it's available in the internet. Maybe I did not search well, but if you want a copy, I can still send you a copy of this. Right. So I'll just skim through this Vision 2030 because we have other issues to discuss. Right. So we start with the year 2015. In the year 2015, on 25th September, there was an adoption, okay, which was signed by 193 countries, where at the 70th Summit of the United Nations. So during this summit, 193 countries signed one signed one agreement that is called UN Sustainable Development Goals. So there are 17 goals under this UN Sustainable Development Goals, and all these goals are related to the well-being of the people inhabiting the planet Earth and about the well-being of the planet as well. So these sustainable goals are a universal goal to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. Yes, we know this is not possible, that all people will enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030, which is just like 4 or 5 years away. But in the year 2015, these were the goals that the United Nations set, right? So in accordance with the goals that the United Nations 193 countries of the United Nations set during the 70th summit, which is called the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or called SDG. SDG gonna, it's very popular in media. So even for our state, our Chief Minister launched the Nagaland SDG Vision 2030, leaving no one behind, in Kohima in the year 2021. Okay, so this document is a roadmap consisting of, like I said, all the 17 goals to achieve in the year 2030. So let's see, maybe we were a little late. 2015, then we set the goals 2021, and the target is 2030. Most of the goals are not. I don't think most of the goals will be achievable, but this is what the goals are, right? So this is a document. This is the document, and these are the goals that we need to achieve. Goal 1, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure. So these are the universal goals, not particularly related to Nagaland alone, but all the 193 countries agreed to work towards all these goals, okay, all the 17 goals, right? So goal 10, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, sustainable production and consumption, climate action, life below water, not very applicable maybe, or in Nagaland, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, partnerships for the goals. These are the 17 goals. And for example, I'll show you, I'll skim through the document, but for example, no poverty. How do we plan to eradicate poverty by 2030? These are the calls or those are the plans that have been mentioned in the document. How do we ensure that there is 100% financial inclusion of all the people in Nagaland? How do we ensure health, education, housing, and basic services for all? So all this comes under no poverty, meaning by 2030, there should be no poverty in Nagaland, right? So for those of you like who grew up in the towns and your parents were working, or maybe at least they had some source of income, you did not experience poverty, but poverty is very much rampant, I should say. Poverty, not in the extreme case, but then most of the kids in many parts of the village areas and many parts of our state are still malnourished. Okay, are still malnourished, and they don't receive the basic iron, calcium, all these minerals and vitamins. No. Okay, so most of, not I will not say, I'll not use the word most, but there are so many kids who are still malnourished in our state. So how do we achieve this goal? Zero hunger. This is one of the goal. Zero malnutrition amongst children and women. How do we increase rice productivity? How do we increase food grains production? Maybe not possible because these days, not possible because most of us we are now going towards other means of livelihood, and we call ourselves farmers, and we say that more than 60% of Nagas are farmers or something like that. But then the food that you eat, the food that you eat today, you think that it is grown by our farmers, maybe some of the leaves and vegetables, but your rice, it mostly comes from what? It comes from Andhra Pradesh, it comes from Punjab, Haryana, and most of the food items that we eat today are chemically infested, right? Why are we suddenly getting so many diseases like cancer and other motor neurological diseases, heart attacks? Because of the food that we eat. Our health depends mostly on the food that we eat, right? A little bit on maybe our DNA, but then our health depends mostly on the food that we eat and our lifestyle, whether we are exercising daily and stuff like that. Right. My point is that we have plans to increase rice productivity. In my humble opinion, we are not going to increase the rice productivity. We won't be able to increase the food grain production because even today, the rice that we eat, the food that we eat are all imported, right? Or mostly imported. And there is government policy of reduce farming, which I will explain later. Okay. So this is one of the goals: zero hunger, good health and well-being, reduce maternal mortality rate to less than 70% per 1 lakh live births. This means that, you know, maternal mortality, maikikan pachapadam di murakan, right? So we have to reduce this. How? By encouraging institutional delivery, not home delivery, something like that. No? So, and preventable deaths of newborns, preventable. There are many newborn babies who die in Nagaland. How do we prevent them? And there are many children who die when they are below 5 years of age. Anyone is wants to say something? I don't know whether can you can you please uh can you please mute your audio? Yes, thank you. So good health and well-being is another issue that we need to look not only in the villages, not only in outskirt areas, but even in the urban areas. It's very sad that there is HIV/AIDS cases rising with the school children. Can you believe this? I've looked at the recent findings, recent data, and HIV/AIDS cases are rising with school children. This is alarming. And yes, malaria we have somehow eliminated in Nagaland. there has been no malaria cases in the last 3-4 years. And yes, so good health in well-being is one of the goals. Quality education, 100% literacy rate, 100% enrollment in primary education, all this zero dropout. How do we improve quality education in the state? That is one of the goals. Gender equality is another one, right? How do we do by establishing women resource centers? Women should be trained. Women farmers to be benefited for these livelihood activities. And there are so many plans that we have. Okay. Yes. So I want to ask something regarding gender equality. The ministry and even the government of Nagaland, we have also done certain things. So there is there is a department, there is a particular, I will not say office, but there is an office or a center which is exclusively for women in every district. Can you tell me what this is? In every district, the government has established one center relating to well-being, relating to rights, relating to, okay, PPP is not the center, PPP is a scheme. Mission Shakti, yeah, I mean, right, this okay, so both of you are partially correct in a sense that, yeah, this question was also asked in one of the exams. So Mission Shakti, Mission Shakti is a mission of the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And under Mission Shakti, we have two components, many components, but I'll just explain two. One is your Saki one-stop center. There is a Saki one-stop center in every district. It will be a building and there will be staff there, counselors and administrators, any women facing violence at home. Because we know that domestic violence is rampant in Nagaland. It is just that most of the cases are not reported. Okay. I do a lot of fact findings research in this area, so I know how women are subjugated, how women are suffering within the four walls of the home in Nagaland. Mutakan mutukabo, pachagi mariwo, amagi mariwo. And then whenever women try to raise their voice, relatives kan ahi jabo, chup chup takiwi, na manukan ki gobo, church manukan ki gobo, mukan laga kandan kan bra ki gobo. So this is happening. Rampant domestic violence is happening. It is just that most of the cases are not reported. Women should voice out. So in order to help women, we have established a center called Saki One Stop Center. Any woman facing any kind of distress, any kind of violence, any kind of harassment can make a phone call here and Saki One Stop Center team will even reach your house. And if you provide shelter, they will give you shelter. If you provide assistance, they will provide assistance. So any woman facing any violence of any kind, financial violence, domestic violence, mental violence, there are various kinds of violence. No? So we want to create an environment, we want to create a society which is domestic violence free, which is gender violence free. Yes, there might be cases of maikigan bra mutakan ge harass korabi ekta duita to taki. I'm not saying that only women are the victims. Mutakan bi I have seen that some women maikingun no do bisi kara tage mutakan do tuk pagina tage. But we know this. But generally speaking, maybe especially in some districts, maikigan do bisi kara tage. Tamul kagina mutakan ge harass korabi bisi tagibo. But except for those cases, we know that Maikigan took Paze. Okay. So I've seen with my own eyes, every year Pachado Pabo, Pachakan ge kilawolido nae, mutado mutukagina korde chamila de. So this is one center that we should all know. I think the number is 181. If you dial 181, maybe at the end of the class, you can try dialing 181 to check. 181 is the helpline number. They will connect you to any districts from which you are calling. So another component under Mission Shakti is called your THEW, District Hub for Empowerment of Women. District Hub for Empowerment of Women. So under THEW, they implement one scheme which was asked in exam maybe 2 years back, which is called PT Pachao, PT Parao. So these are the schemes. In this, THEW is attached to TC office in every district. Under Mission Shakti, we have working women hostel in every town. In every town in Nagaland, the ministry has set up a building where working women can stay there. Now, instead of going and paying expensive rent, when women have to work in the various departments, in various offices, private offices, you need a place. So you go and pay heavy amount of PG, laga fees, or your rent. You can go and stay women working hostel, women's working hostel, tati puhibo paribo, right? And there are so many other schemes for women under Mission Shakti, right? So this is one of the schemes, one of the areas that the government is also actively looking into. Then clean water and sanitation. Let us not spend more time on this, nah? Because you have to, I'll send you the document. You please go through the document and you read, especially for your mains exam. Okay. And you have your affordable and clean energy. How to provide affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth. Yeah, yes, this is regarding industry innovation in infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities. These are the goals. I'm just skimming through. So let me just show you the document. So this is the document. Right. This is the vision in a nutshell. We envisage Nagaland as a well-governed, peaceful, inclusive, and prosperous state of India with a sustainable and diverse economy, a skilled and healthy population, providing equitable opportunities for all citizens who have a sense of belonging and fulfillment in a safe, clean, and green environment where none feels deprived and women are empowered with equal opportunities. Okay, these are the sweet, wonderful words that have been written for Vision 2030. Now, Nuksado Nagalin lakado no hinagyo. I've not seen this bridge in Nagaland. Or na ito as a Kiba bridge to. Ito foothill bridge to ito as a. Is this the foothill bridge that was inaugurated? Is this the Duyang foothill bridge? If it is so, then this is a beautiful place. Ito foothill bridge ita punay na. This might be the one. Okay. Because Vision 2030 lagi na do alak manulaka nuksado na haliwala mo kan be. Oh, it did it. All right. So how do you go through this book? You go through like this. For example, no poverty. This is no poverty. Under no poverty, what are we going to do? Right? Itian Nagalindi, what is the status? And you know what are we going to, how are we going to achieve the targets? So regarding food security, education, health, this is a very important document if we want to really know about the status of things in Nagaland. So I'll be sharing you this document. You please go through this document. Right. Now I'm closing this and going to,
Sir,
yes,
I don't have the document.
that is what I'm going to send you after the class,
Okay.
right? Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Uh, Viksit Bharat is a different thing. Viksit Bharat means India got independence in the year 1947. So the present government wants to make India a superpower, at least. So by the year 2047, that is 100 years, 100 years, the India do Viksit Bharat hobo lage. Inigana. So this is not related to Viksit Bharat because Vision 2032 it's going to be uh, attained in 2030. That is 5 years away. Viksit Bharat is another maybe 20 years away. Okay, right. So I have list down 20 government schemes, projects, missions, and programs, which we will discuss from this morning onwards. All the schemes have been in one way or the other asked in the NPSC exam, so I consider them very important. Some of them might be technical, but you have to bear because you are studying for your exams. Okay, so before we go to the departments, remember we are not discussing about department. These are schemes, foreign funded schemes, Japan funded, Germany funded, World Bank funded, right? Or maybe these are some schemes that are state funded, central funded. These are not department, but schemes that are being implemented in Nagaland right now. Not only schemes, but the projects, some missions, some programs. Remember, I consider this to be very important for your exams. Okay, so Nagaland Forest Management Project, JICA, funded by Japan. IFAD, Focus, funded by IFAD. Element Project, funded by World Bank. One district, one product we have discussed. Nagaland Bioresource Mission, Nagaland Beekeeping and Honey Mission, Nagaland Bamboo Development Agency, Chief Minister Universal Life Insurance Scheme, Chief Minister Health Insurance Scheme, Chief Minister Micro Initiative. All this have been asked in exam. You just go through the previous year's question paper. And IDAN, Nagaland Health Project, Nagaland Building and Other Construction Workers Welfare Board, Nagaland Education Project, PIG Nectar, the Lighthouse, NEPET and NEPET. So I'm sure you're also confused with this. This NEPET was asked in the year 2013. This NEPET was asked in the year 2000, I think 22 or something. I don't exactly remember. But both NEPET have been asked. Both NEPET are different. So one is with the capital E, other is with the small e, right? So how do we differentiate between this NIPET and how do I NEPET and NIPIT? Nike go with pronunciation will be the same. I don't know. And what about Kohima Smart City Development Limited? Aspirational Districts Program, Aspirational Blocks Program, Nagaland Startup Policy 2019, Nagaland Skill in Entrepreneurship Development Mission. This was launched just this year, some months back. This is the latest mission, Nagaland Skill in Entrepreneurship Development Mission. Okay, so let's start with the first, and tomorrow and maybe Monday we will try to finish this. Right. So let's start with Nagaland Forest Management Project, which is called Chaiga Project, which is very much like happening in Nagaland. This Chaiga is everywhere. Every day you open the newspaper, Chaiga activities happening in one district or the other. So this is called Nagaland Forest Management Project. Now, what is this? What is Chaiga? So, like I said, it is supported by Japan International Cooperation Agency. The Japanese government has set up this, okay, as to cooperate with other countries, which is called JICA. And this Nagaland Forest Management Project is supported by Japan's JICA. And it is a 46 million euro, for 400 crores approximately, 10-year initiative 2017 brought 2027 that Japan government is going to invest more than 400 crore in Nagaland for what? Now, please use your, reasoning power and skills, your thoughts on this, because when we discuss the first three projects you will see that something is happening. Okay, I'll tell you what is happening, but you also try to see what is exactly happening in Nagaland. Remember, the aim, Japan's aim is, now what is, why is Japan so interested in Nagaland in the first place? That is one question that we also need to ask. It improving forest ecosystem, supporting sustainable livelihoods in Nagaland. Japan is interested in improving the forest ecosystem and supporting livelihood in Nagaland. Okay, very good. One country is investing lots of money in Nagaland. We are happy. This is implemented by the Department of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and supported by the government of Japan. So today, Chaika project is there in 185 villages in Nagaland. across 11 districts, 22 forest ranges targeting 79,096 hectares for forestry interventions. So this is the aim of the project. And so what is the background? So the background is that approximately 60% of Nagaland's 1.9 million population relies on jum cultivation. Our forefathers have been jumming for the past hundreds of years, and we practice jum cultivation except in the lowlands districts. So which meets about 60% of the state food's demand. However, things like shortened jum cultivation, earlier one piece of land was cultivated this year, it was cultivated after maybe 20 years. Now it was left fallow, but because now we're instead of 20 years, we're going back to this same piece of land for 10 years. Due to shortened jum cycles like this, it has reduced yields and it has led to forest degradation and biodiversity loss. The second point is commercial exploitation of forests to supplement our rural incomes have further degraded forest resources, necessitating sustainable interventions. So over the past years, because of zooming activities, because of commercial exploitation of forests, the forest products, the forest area in Nagaland is shrinking. And so Japan wants to help. Japan wants to help. So we're happy. Right. So the main objective of the project, like I said, is to improve the forest ecosystem and support income generation by rehabilitation of zoom areas and provision of livelihood support. Right. So now the project also aims to, you see, zooming is not a very profitable thing. So instead of zooming, if the villagers can do some other commercial activities like poultry rearing, pig rearing, they form SAGs, right? Then they will, if they are earning rupees 100 through zooming, they will be earning rupees 500 through zooming, and at the same time they will not do zooming, so the forest will be safe, something like this. Now this is the logic. Okay, now these are some of the key objectives like we have discussed: forest ecosystem improvement, like restoring degraded forest areas particularly affected by zoom cultivation, to enhance biodiversity, ecosystem services, all these are there. How, what is the method used? Zoom agroforestry, meaning in the zoom fields, you also plant trees, right? And zoom fallow forestry, meaning during the fallow periods, you also do forestry activities in the fallow lands. Zoom conservation to forestry means the abundant zoom lands, right? We convert it into permanent forests. Zoom conversion to community conservation area, designated degraded lands for conservation, meaning in a certain village, if there are parts of land that have been degraded, they are no longer suitable for rice cultivation. Why don't we use that piece of land as a community conservation area? This is the plan, and protecting an expansion of community conserved area. So enhancing existing conserved areas. There are community conserved areas in the village. The plan is to increase the area of the conserved area. This is the first objective. The second objective, like I said, is livelihood support. How do they do this? So forest department, earlier in RLM under RT was the only department that was promoting SCGs. Nagaland today, abune itya postidi chailibi town di piralibi mata do idibali turn gorlibi SCG member. Idibali turn gorlibi SCG member. Everyone in Nagaland has become SCG member only, especially the women folks. No? So because in our, not only in RLM, Hulibi Itya, even Chaiga is forming SCGs. Other projects are is also forming SCGs in the villages. I know some women members who are part of 3-4 SCGs, right? So why are they forming SCGs? So that the women folk can come together. It's not only the women folk, okay? For example, in RLM under RD, they encourage only the women folk. Polibe itu laga SCG do, forest laga do mutakan bi maki kami so milagin na ho. So after forming an SCG, they promote some income generating activities to reduce dependency on forest resources and elevate property. So instead of going and commercially exploiting the forest, SCGs are encouraged, and through the activities of the SCGs, income generating activities kan do kurili do takan forest to protect korbo. This is the idea. right? The third idea is sustainable forest management. So in the village, you will see that joint forest management committees are formed under this Chaiga project. So when a management committee, forest management committee is there in the village, this committee will look into the conservation efforts in the village, and they will also promote sustainable june practices. Now, another factor is institutional strengthening, building capacity within the Nagaland Forest Department and local communities for long-term environmental and socio-economic reliance. Meaning, the community is here, forest department is here. So the project aims to build relationship and capacity building between these two groups, between the department and the local communities, so that there is cooperation, there is support, and there is mutual understanding, and the communities are also protecting the forest. So this is all about Chaigar project implemented in 185 villages, right? Implemented in 185 villages, and the aim is promote livelihood activities, reduce zooming, and promote forestation, promote environmental upgradation. This is the plan. So this is a picture. The Nagaland Forest Management Project has been honored with prestigious SKOCH Award, Scotch Award 2024. So this project won an award called the Scotch Award in 2024, New Delhi. Okay, so this is a picture from the award ceremony. Right, so this is about Nagaland. Yeah, before that, so because of Chaiga activities, I saw this in a newspaper, Mukokchung Times. Yes, we have a very active divisional forest officer and IFS officer in Mukokchung. So I saw a news report that because of Chaiga activities over the past 2-3 years, between 2000 and 2022, in just 1 year alone, Mukokchung has increased forest cover by 14.88 square kilometers. Okay, so this is supported by Japan's Taiga. Mokokchung's restoration tribe shows strong results. Okay, so in other district, it also will be definitely happening. Right. So that is about Chaiga. Now let's come to IFAT. IFAT is International Fund for Agricultural Development, and IFAD is running a scheme called Focus, which is called Fostering Climate Resilient Upland Farming System. IFAD Focus means International Fund for Agricultural Development. Focus stands for Fostering Climate Resilient Upland Farming Systems. So what is IFAD Focus? Now, we have learned about Chaiga. Just at the back of your mind, just keep some facts about Chaiga. What is the aim of Chaiga, Nagaland Forest Management Scheme project? And now we are learning about IFAD. IFAD is International Fund for Agricultural Development, and it is a specialized agency of the United Nations, and it is aimed at eradicating rural poverty and developing countries like India. Now, one of their projects, one of IFAD's project is called Focus. It operates in northeast region of India, including the states of Mizoram and Nagaland. So this project from IFAD is there in Nagaland and in Mizoram now. When was this project initiated? 2018, with a financing agreement signed between IFAD and Government of India. Who implements this IFAD project? It is implemented by the Department of Agriculture. Tiger project is implemented by the Department of Forest. IFAD Focus project is implemented by the Department of Agriculture. So who funds this project? Kunra Poisa De. This project is funded by IFAD loans and grants, and also Government of India contributions, co-financing from the Government of Nagaland. So the total project cost is about $100 million, right? I don't know $100 million to kimano bo Indian rupees ti.
1 billion.
Ah? Crore di ko na. Mukhang to billion to na ito India dito. 800 crores.
10 crore.
800 crores na. 700 to 800 crores, right? Pop up. We saw the 700 to 800 crore wala. Okay, good. Now itu paisa to ki karni diya jaye? Let's see. Oh, before that, this is the structure. In order to implement this project, some small details which might be important for exam. Nagaland established a society. There's a society. The name of the society is Society for Climate Resilient Agriculture in Nagaland, which is called SOCRAN. Society for Climate Resilient Agriculture in Nagaland, under the APC's office, Agricultural Production Commissioner, right? And so the Chief Secretary of the state is the chairperson and APC is the vice chairperson. Now this is the project management structure. The mission director of IFAT in Nagaland is your Agricultural Production Commissioner. Who is the ABC of Nagaland now? Come on, exam dibole manokon kobe. Who is the Agricultural Production Commissioner of Nagaland? Najane?
Wezope.
Yeah, Vizopi. He is the Agricultural Production Commissioner of Nagaland at the moment. So this is the how the project will be carried out. Kun kun ki kam lobo. So in the district level, district management unit there, the district project manager will be the district agricultural officer. So this is not really important. I'm just showing you that this is the structure for the project. Now, aims in objective. Now you please listen carefully. Again, transition Zoom cultivation to sustainable practices like cereal farming and agroforestry. Almost the same like Chaika. Enhance climate resilience with drought-resistant crops and water management. Meaning, some crops, drought ahelido Nagalande. How do we promote drought-resistant crops? Right? This is the plan. Boost incomes through livestock, poultry, and value-added products like turmeric, naga chili. This is similar with Chaiga with SCG form Gorena Takanbi into activities Koranishna. Strengthen market access via farmers producer organization FPOs. So in most of the districts, farmers are now forming FPOs, farmers producers organizations. These are called FPOs. Company na registered company kan pustikan di form kore ase. For example, in parent training area, we have the training organic I don't exactly remember. So there are companies formed with the help of government initiatives by the farmers. Empower women and youth through self-help groups. So do you see that almost all the aims are similar now with Chaiga? Let's see the progress in Nagaland. See, farming, over 50,000 hectares under sustainable practices and reduced high-yielding crops and terracing livelihoods. 1,200 SCGs formed with 20-30% income raised in targeted villages. Why are we forming SCGs? Kuanishna indirectly SCG form gorido forest laga products to mogan exploit nokrobo na, jungle do nakatibo na, bamboo katigina pigri nokrobo na, kori katigina pigri nokrobo na. Mogan do kori katigina load pigri gore. So SCG form gorido, they will not do this. They will simply be active in SCG activities and have other means of livelihood, right? Market access, FPOs are formed to link markets, farmers to markets. Infrastructure like cold storages are built, climate resilience. So more than 30,000 farmers trained in climate smart agriculture. Empowerment, women, 50% plus beneficiaries in youth engaged in enterprise like handicrafts and beekeeping. So this is about your IFAT focus. If they ask, they will simply ask for 5 to 10 marks. So this is sufficient for 5 to 10 marks. No? Now I saw in the Times of India newspaper, I saw another headline in the last year, November day. I saw this headline in November 2024. World Bank pumps. The word used is pump. Pump means ito tangwar dia na pumps. World Bank pumps 225 million. Oh yeah. 225.5 million to boost Nagaland Tripura forest landscapes. Okay. No, it will be clear. That means we have learned about Chaiga, we have learned about IFAT, all related to forest management, ecosystem. We have learned about focus. Now, what is this? World Bank Piki Kurezaro. Let's see. This is about element project. Nambi kun kun bradio. Elimin. In the abbreviation of Elimin is enhancing landscape and ecosystem management. Again, like I said, if you are a smart person, I'm sure that you are a smart person. I'm assuming that you are a smart person. You know that there is something happening. So many world agencies are pumping money in Nagaland, but more or less their aim is same. Their aim is same. Let's learn about your Element project. So Element is called Enhancing Landscape and Ecosystem Management Project in Nagaland, funded by World Bank, is a 81.5 million initiative. So out of the 200 plus million project, it covers Nagaland and Tripura, and it is aimed at sustainable forest management and livelihood enhancement. Are same thing is happening now? Do you agree? So many different agencies, everyone is doing the same thing: sustainable forest management and livelihood enhancement. So this was approved last year. It is implemented by the society that was formed, which is called Sukran, Society for Climate Resilient Agriculture in Nagaland. This is also under the Agricultural Production Commissioner, and it covers 225 villages across 15 districts. Okay, so the full name is Element Project Enhancing Landscape and Ecosystem Management. The focus is on sustainable forest management and conservation, funded by World Bank, area of operation Nagaland and Tripura. A similar project is also running in Meghalaya. Why is this Element project needed? Forest degradation. Nagaland's forests, crucial for the rural economy and tribal communities, have faced a decline in recent years. This threatens biodiversity in the livelihoods of forest-dependent communities. We understand this. Nagaland forest to where it is important for rural economy and tribal communities, right? But it is also not the case that mukan forest na tagili takibon na para ini kaman no kayo. Ajikali kando mukando we are chaul kan bi mukan ido ration card pura paina kaya je, and somehow we just live without depending so much on the forest. There are some big shots who exploits the natural resources like boulders and sand gravel in the rivers, and there are some big contractors who are into logging business. But generally speaking, pusti manogando imando kiba no ho. Na, that is what I honestly feel. Climate change, yes, the region is vulnerable to impacts of climate change, making it essential to enhance resilience. These are the aims of focus and the key objective. Again, forest conservation and restoration. To conserve and restore over 100,000 hectares of forest land. Acha. Economic growth. To push landscape-based value change, creating economic opportunities through sustainable use of forest resources like agarwood, bamboo, and honey. So commercial uh, areas of forest resource to Pahalwara use currently. Job creation to generate 60,000 jobs, particularly for the youth and women, by promoting forest-based entrepreneurship and providing skill training. Climate resilience to improve climate resilience of rural and forest-dependent communities. So these are the key objectives of the focus element carbon emission reduction, to reduce carbon emission by enhancing the carbon sinks capacity of forests. So how will the element project achieve these objectives? Through community participation, through private sector partnership, skills development, integrated landscape approach, right? So these are some of the ways. I'll share you this PDF so you can go through the notes that I have prepared. There's this big funding hides behind this thing. There's no, yeah, I'll come to this. So just wait, but not for your exam, just for your general knowledge. Yes, so this are some of the objectives of this of 11 project, and this was the thing in the Times of India. This is for the 11 project targeted beneficiaries over. This is inclusive of Nagaland and Tripura, na? 700,000 people, 400 plus villages in Tripura and Nagaland. Additional grant 2.4 million will be provided by program Objective is forest management. Prevent annual carbon emissions. Improve soil conservation and water availability. Economic development. Create 60,000 jobs. Promote forest-based entrepreneurship. Develop forest products value agarwood, bamboo, honey. Enhance nature-based tourism. Support national parks and protected areas. Massive diversity. Okay, so we have learned about Chaiga. We have learned about focus. We have learned about element. For a person, when we studied these three projects, all are related to conservation of forests. Yes, three similar projects funded, one by Japan, one by United Nations, one by World Bank. Na World Bank TV alag-alag country kan ase, United Nations TV alag-alag country kan ase. Why are they spending? Okay, for those people in love, this yatiki tiki ase. Maybe today is your lucky day, huh? I'm also saying it only now. Right. So yeah. Okay. Not important for exams, but people see signs everywhere, right? All right. Now, why investing millions of dollars into Nagaland? The $1 million question is this, with pun intended, $1 million question. $1 million question. Why are Japan's government and the World Bank suddenly eyeing Nagaland for massive investment? Now you tell me. Please tell me. Nagaland, such a small place, they are not going to get anything by investing crores and millions of money into Nagaland. But why is everyone rushing as if competition Granishna? Why is everyone rushing into Nagaland for massive investments? Tell me.
Carbon credit.
Okay. For carbon credit. Okay. Anyone else?
Those Nagaland people are full.
That doesn't even make sense. Could be the Southeast Asian corridor. Okay, Southeast Asian corridor. Carbon credit. Okay, somebody is saying carbon credit. Untapped potential. Untapped potential. Well, they are coming and conserving our forest. What will they get out of that? Na, Pabi Salido. Now, from now on, for the next 20 minutes, I will discuss something. This is just for you to open your mind. If you have seen this before, then this is just a supplementation. But I think many of you is not aware of what is happening beneath all this funding, right? So maybe this morning you will open your eyes to, oh, actually this is what is happening, and then we should be aware of this. So, but like I said, this is for your consumption, and yes, it is out there. People have raised questions about this. I will take you to a 2024 Twitter link. Twitter day Manu Iktawara. I'm sure he's not a Naga, but he explained why the world agencies, United Nations, World Bank, and Japan are investing so heavily in Nagaland in order to protect the forests. Okay, I've taken screenshot of his Twitter account, and I will just directly show you his Twitter laga link, Twitter laga post. And from there, I will explain. Okay, let's go. So in September, this Twitter user by the name of Prosky underscore Ash, he posted initially Taikiba Kiba Ligeshi. After that, he started with this. Our story begins 8 years ago. The entire world united in Paris to sign the historic Paris Agreement, a global pact to curb emission signed by 195 countries. It sets ambitious targets for countries to limit their carbon footprint. Yes, so there was a Paris Agreement. Yes, It was a Paris Agreement. It was in 2015-16, but in the Paris Agreement, 195 countries came together and looked at the problems of the world. And so the problem was our climate change, pollution, because of emission of carbon, right? Now all the countries, 195 countries, signed an agreement that they will reduce their carbon emission. Because of carbon emission, the world is becoming hotter and hotter, and it is leading to various environmental problems in the world. So this was the Paris Agreement. Okay, I hope you have understood this now, that all the countries have agreed to reduce their carbon emission, have agreed to reduce, not reduce but curb emissions. But there is something else here. Now, how do they do this? So what this essentially means is that countries all over the world have to decided to put a limit on the amount of pollution they emit in a year, with this limit on emissions slowly being reduced to net zero by the year 2050. So the plan is, for a country like Japan, they will limit their emissions slowly, and then by the year 2050, their emission should become zero. This is the plan. Now, but all the countries are having industries, mines, and vehicles and so many machineries which emits carbon on a daily basis, which harms the environment. So the agreement was that listen here, the key term here is net zero. It means countries can still pollute, but by investing in carbon reducing activities elsewhere, they earn credits allowing them to offset their emissions. In essence, they balance their pollution by supporting global climate efforts. Did you understand this? That means a country like Japan, if they were if they were emitting 100 carbon, they can emit 200 carbon also. It's okay. But they have to do something in order to reduce this elsewhere. That is what they're doing in Nagaland. You got the point now, no? But this is not being told us by the government. I'm sure this is happening. Otherwise, why would they come and invest such huge amount of money for our forests? Because Japan is a small country, and takan tati iman small country takan cost taliboli no hai. In order to reduce the carbon emission, they have to run their factories. But it says that takan carbon kiman emit korishi itu to takan carbon credit to alak chakari chagena takan kiba koribo lage, right? Right, it makes sense now. For example, if someone in Europe wants to produce steel, mine minerals, or burn coal for electricity, they must buy credits to offset the pollution from these activities. So a country in Europe or a country like Japan, they want to emit carbon, right? They want to emit carbon, so they have to go and buy the carbon credit. Carbon credit to China, takan kiba korlubo. For example, you want to use electricity, or you want to use your mobile phone, you have to now recharge your phone. Inika kuran is not a pollution to koribo lage na, industry to chilubo lage. But in order to run this industries, they have to go and buy your carbon credit. And this is where private companies are exploiting our government, because they are the middle players. So something very, really, really big is happening. For example, this is as an example, Denmark, they, in order to see if people, you mean if a person in Denmark wants to raise a cow, they have to give $100 to the government, because cow raise korba methane produce korina livestock pra, and this is also harming the environment, right? So world's first carbon tax on livestock will cost farmers $100 per cow. So if your activity is emitting carbon, you have to buy carbon credit. That is the idea. No, so how does all of this connect to Nagaland? Because the state today is sitting on one of the largest coal mine of this credit today in the world. It's vast. So Nagaland can give carbon credit. This is something that we never told, na? Our vast forest, it emits oxidation, right? It reduces carbon, it offsets the carbon emissions. That is why agencies are eyeing Nagaland, correct? But then there's a catch. Yeah, for example, forest acts as the planet's lungs, removing carbon dioxide and producing oxygen. For every 1 ton of carbon dioxide reduced, the state government can earn 1 carbon credit. See, so 1 carbon credit. If a company or a state government can remove 1 ton of CO2 from the atmosphere, they are earning 1 carbon credit. These credits are what's drawing global investors to interest to Nagaland. Our forests hold the key to sustainable future. So if this is a factory, they have to now go and buy the carbon credit by doing CO2 sequestration here in another country, in another land, and then they get carbon credits. They can now pollute the environment. Yes, Nagaland government never told us this. They will never tell you this. Plus, but please don't go to Kohima tomorrow and start protesting in front of the secretariat. Now, Nagaland today has 600,000 hectares of forest. Each hectare of forest can roughly produce 250 carbon credits a year. Wow. One hectare of forest in Nagaland can produce 250 carbon credits in a year. Thus, essentially, the state can earn 150 million carbon credits a year. Oh gosh. We can earn 150 million carbon credits. And last year, the price of 1 carbon credit was $10. 1 carbon credit was $1. So our state can earn 12,500 crores per year. Can you imagine this? One carbon credit is $10. We can produce 150 million carbon credits, Nagaland. And so if you convert it into 10 rupees, $10, then you have 12,500 crores. Yes, that's right. Yes, but it is not like that. Okay. Itu puisa sub to Nagaland dia ayaw nga noy de. So I said there are some big private players, which we also don't know. Kung Robin no mukhang ge. Keep in mind, yeah, the current price of carbon in European markets is gross €100 per ton. So one is quite conservative. That means this is the lowest. Itu lobi pisyobo as the price fluctuates. Right. This is what has countries from US to Germany to Japan so interested in Nagaland and are today investing hundreds of crores in the state. Even the recent State of the World GIS Center, which has come up, is a part of the carbon credit project. So there is a world-class GIS center, okay, in Kohima, just below the Nagaland Secretariat, remote sensing center. Na? So this is also built in by investment through the carbon credit project, right? So you see, in Nagaland, 88% of forests are privately owned because of Article 371A. And so when you think about this, our trees, our forests, it belongs to us, the people. Then don't you think that the carbon credit belongs to the people, not to the government? Ito be as day, but we public to do na na. We do know this. We are only shouting about the oil beneath our soil, beneath our land. We're shouting about the coal beneath our land. Will it be our forests are emitting, or our forests are providing millions of carbon credits? Ito kung public kando nandiyan ito, right? So it only makes sense that earnings from this carbon credit should go to the people, not to the government. Just like fruit trees belong to the owner of the tree, the benefits of the forest should also belong to those who own them. Okay. But then, Nagaland government direct handle nogore. They are, if this is Japan, this is United Nations, this is World Bank, this is Germany. They have their own agencies. This is your Nagaland government. Middle there, they are private companies though. Now, who are doing business. Initially, these private companies might be investing in Nagaland. They are buying carbon credits for rupees 1 and they are selling these carbon credits for rupees 10. Iniga Korea though. That means it is the private companies who are earning. I'm also trying to do some research on this, but iman na payo. So I can't tell you who are the big private companies or financial institutions. You do international level, they over. All these are happening at the international level. Okay, so private investors are the ones who are providing the initial funding. Now, when I visited Seminyu 2 years back, I met a friend who was telling me about Seminyu is also established a pilot project where they are earning only $1 per carbon credit. Okay, in Seminyu, Sendenyu area, uh, in Seminyu, they have already started this, not at the government level, but at the community level. So I was really happy with my Ringmar friends and their visionary leadership. Takan laka forest to preserve kurna, they were selling carbon credit. Hulibit takan be $1 per pikir ko dagi sito. Now, when the market is $10, now because they are also dealing with the investors only. Okay, so there is a community carbon credit project in Semenyu district. You can also research about it. Now, it's not like the government is taking big money and hiding everything. No, it's nothing like that. Like I said, though it's a new thing, so similar carbon initiatives are happening all over the place in Honduras, Cambodia, Sikkim, India. So the government is also taking advice from private financial institutions. So they are the ones who are actually making money out of our forests. So they are risks with the current proposed. So yeah, okay. The government of Sikkim and similar structure, but not fund itself in long-term contracts, where most profits go to foreign institutional investors, leaving the local people with minimum benefit. So we need more research on this. Sikkim Lagado research paper kuno ba show. Some people have done some research on this. I was not able to get a hold of the research papers. Even if I get a hold of the research papers, it will take maybe weeks for me to really understand what is happening. But Sikkim DB, a similar carbon credit project took place. But yeah, after all these negotiations, local people do iman benefit to nabai, but it mostly the profit goes to foreign institutional investors. Okay, so the problem is that the issue is that fluctuating carbon credit prices turn financial institutions into middlemen. They buy from forest owners and sell high to polluting companies. Contractors often set carbon prices below market rates, letting investors pocket over 90% of the potential benefits. This is the main issue because we have the raw materials, we have the fruits. It's very similar because mukan elaichi, we have cardamom, we have so many other products. People from Assam, they come, they buy with very cheap price. They go back to Assam and they sell it at a very high price. This is what is doing by the private investors. They buy this carbon credit from us and sell it to high polluting companies. So yes, let's also learn about this important thing in economics. In economics, there is a term called the Dutch disease, also known as the paradox of plenty. It refers to a phenomenon where countries with abundant natural resources experience lower economic growth, higher poverty, and weaker governance compared to those with such resources. So there is a paradox in economics, which is known as the Dutch disease, meaning a country with a lot of natural resources, they end up being very poor. For example, many countries in Africa, rich in diamond, gold, but they are living below the poverty line. Countries like Venezuela, rich in oil, but they are also struggling. Nah, this is a paradox. Why is this happening? Your country is rich in mineral resources, but that means you are a rich country. You're supposed to be a rich country, but you are now living in poverty. Countries like Nigeria and Venezuela are examples of nations suffering from this curse, resource curse. You are blessed with a lot of resource, but because of mismanagement or because of one thing or the other, because of political reasons or corruption, conflict, whatever, you are living in poverty. Okay, this is known as the Dutch disease or paradox of plenty in economics. Okay, so without going much into that, I'll show. He has shown an example of Norway. What has happened in Norway is Norway is also blessed with resources, but unlike other African countries and Venezuela and other countries, which have become poor after having so many resources, Norway has successfully avoided the resource curse. Now listen to this. This is a very interesting concept, and this is a very interesting case study. Norway leaders resisted the lure of foreign investment banks offering big dollars for oil extraction and ensured that resource wealth was more evenly distributed among the population. This was what the Norway government did. It did not accept the money that was invested, that the foreign investment companies were willing or the banks were willing to invest. Okay. And so Nagaland today, as per him, Nagaland today stands at crossroads facing a choice: follow the path of Nigeria or Norway. After Nigeria discovered oil, foreign corporations through bribery, corruption, and military influence ensured that only a few Nigerians benefited from the billions generated by oil reserves. What this guy is saying is that Nagaland is also like this today. We have discovered that we have the world is now advanced so much that we are living in an era where you know forest is like a gold mine, but then the forest belongs to the people, but it is exploited by foreign companies. Like Nigeria, there was oil in Nigeria, but then it was exploited by other big companies abroad. So Norway, what is happening in Norway is that instead of letting foreign corporations and elites control their wealth, they pull all earnings into a central fund. For Norway, what they did was all the earnings from the oil fields, they started a fund, okay, which is called the Central Fund. And today, that fund is worth over $1.4 trillion. Oh, gosh. So each of Norway's citizens are having $5 million share. Norway di China citizenship loli palo na yo omokan be. Right? So this is what the government did. And yes, so this means that each Norwegian citizen has a stake of 250,000 in their nation's wealth. Foreign corporations tried to prevent this by bribing opposition parties to block taxation on the profit, but something remarkable happened in Norway. So this is just what happened in Norway. So many politics and bribery, so many things tried to private companies tried to influence all this, but then the people, the leaders there succeeded. Okay, Norway's yeah, oil fund is larger than the combined wealth of the richest than wealth people. Norway's oil fund, it is owned by the people. This is the interesting. It is not owned by the government. It is not owned by any corporation. It is owned by the people. And it is larger than the combined wealth of the richest than people in the world. So a country like Gabon, it adopts a similar model relating to carbon credits. Okay? Carbon credit though, Gabon is a country. Let's just check whether Gabon is a country or yeah, it is a country in Central Africa. It is a country in Central Africa. So Gabon in Africa, carbon credit lagado takan bi single fund ekta die Norway nishina kore. Okay. Thanks to structured products, the country earns consistently regardless if carbon price rise or fall. Every carbonist citizens benefits from this share in this fund. So for a country like Gabon, they have also started a central fund where all the money from the carbon credits are going to this fund, and all the citizens of the country are having a share here. Inniga model ekta mo kan bi banaboli pareli bhal ase. That is what this user was suggesting. If Nagaland adopted a similar model and carbon prices were $10 per ton, the 12,500 crore earnings divided among 2.2 million people would mean 56,818 each annually. So inika hoshuguli do mukan sob mano every year 56,818 rupees pabo. Aro ito million carbon credits laga price to $100 jali do ekchon man do 5 lakhs to aram pura pabole ado abuni ko nokrelibi. Right? Since our nature is investment by increasing, so don't our people so also benefit? This is the only question that I also want to ask, no? So manukando people benefit in a sense. So what is happening in Nagaland na? Ito azo. See, this might not be the perfect analogy because we all need research on this. The government is get ito koda koranay. Assembly is going on. You know, assembly is going on. In never of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, this topic was never discussed. No one knows. I'm sure most of the MLAs don't know about what is happening here. Nah. So Nagaland ito is in Nagaland is producing a lot of carbon credit. And this credit is produced by our trees. And this owned by the people. Now we have the Nagaland government and we have Japan, Germany, and other countries. These countries are these countries need. I mean, these countries means the private companies. See, again, abuni pujiboli do na. Company to government ba do na tagibo do na. Japan di holibi Japan laga government laga company no do. There will be so many companies. Tell me some company in Japan, Sony, South Korea di tagibo, Samsung. Na, there will be so many companies. So these companies are the ones who wants carbon credit. So they will also be talking through the government only. So itya Nagaland government kan logot ikta itya aro ido carbon credit laga company tagibo do. So Nagaland government do tagan ke suppose carbon credit to tagan rupees 1 bra kinibo. Na rupees 1 bra kina do 500 crore hobo do ido. And this, after buying carbon credit with this 500 crore, what government will launch is so many projects like Chaigar project, Element project, Focus project. And with this money, they will do activities to give more carbon credit. Which is na chubing korole na dibo, forest area protect korobo. Aro itu paisa do Nagaland government chulai lobo. Na. Aro this carbon credit company takan do ekto over kiningina ragi aso do carbon credit to. So depending on the price, takan do kuno ba gitu 8 over pikir korbo, kuno ba gitu 9 over pikir korbo, kuno ba gitu 10 over pikir korbo. You get what I'm saying? Aro manu do iko na ba? Mukha do iko na ba? Na no eh. To ki ba? Chungkul do abun laga ase, kas to abun laga, baba laga, baba bura tale ase. Carbon credit to abun laga mati bura olay ase. To abuni ki pa? Iko na pa do abune. We don't get anything. It's not like the government is also getting a lot of money. Oh, maybe 500 crore pishi ase. But then this is peanuts compared to what the private companies are. You will start cutting down. ঠিক আছে Abunibi nolobo abunibi nolobo bolido manugibi nadibo na. Right. So this is what is happening. Very interesting topic. I'm sure many of you have not heard of this before. Naga manu pishi manu najane oido. Najane. Leaders kan probi najane. We should start enlightening our actually leaders, tribal leaders. Itu be oil nishna azido. So we mukan mati laga pitor de tail tagado we have been quarreling for so many years. Libi ito carbon credit to every year ola ase ito to private companies kan pra loi kina takan paisa banai ase to. Yeah, digital oil. But we don't know about this. We are all keeping quiet. Right. So this is about carbon credit. Rest of the bamboo development agencies, all this, no, will start from tomorrow. Will not be as interesting as this morning's class because the projects kando you just have to read and memorize. I'll also mostly skim through all the 20 projects. Now we will go and discuss MCQs. Like I said, important Naga personalities. Yes. So everyone, duty holibi text to libi answer gobido. Who is regarded? Which doctor is still remembered as the physician gifted with the natural gift of healing? I'm sure Dr. Imkong. Oh, yes, right. So he was regarded as a physician gifted with the natural gift of healing. He took voluntary retirement from government and opened a clinic in Mokokchung. And like I said, he was instrumental in the Naga People's Convention. And ikin tai clinic poina tai laga 4 day pat kabuli charem di police point also de underground manobra tai ge morai dishe. Right? Now, it was there. I like this kind of questions. That is why I prepared such kind of questions, UPSC type, so that we won't go discussing about all the personalities. Nah, but then we'll just learn it through like this. Now consider the following statements about Dr. Mkong Libao. Which of the following statements are correct? You tell me. Read and tell me. The Mugukchung Civil Hospital is renamed after him. He was elected as the president of the Naga People's Convention held in 1957.
2, 3, and 4.
Answer is 2, 3, and 4.
All of the above. I think 1, 2, 3.
He was not the chief minister.
He was not the chief minister. Yes, that is correct. He was not the chief minister. So the answer should be
1, 2, 3, 4.
yes, the
3. 1, 2, 3.
abuni pahalba pura na wala tay laga. Mugukchung
3 and
Civil
4.
Hospital is renamed after him. Correct. He was elected president of the Naga People's Convention. Correct. The Naga People's Convention drafted the correct. He was the first chairman of the 16th body. It was no, eh? Do we correct as though? And after he was murdered, T.N. Angami became the chairman. Correct. Yes. What about this? Which prominent Naga leader is popularly referred to as father of democratic tradition in Nagaland?
C. Dian Angami.
Yes, the answer is C. T.N. Angami. He is known as the father of democratic tradition in Nagaland. He was also the first speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. He also became the chief minister, right? So now let's see. Consider the statements about T.N. Angami. Which one of the following is right?
All of the above.
1, 2, 4, and 5.
1, 2, 4, and 5. Any more?
1, 2, 3, and 5.
The answer is all of above. T.N. Angami served as our Indian. He served in the Indian Army before joining the district administration. He served as the chair of the Angami Tribal Council, member of Peace Mission to Delhi in 1957. After Imkong Liba's assassination, he was elected as the chairman of the interim body. He served as the first speaker and also the chief minister of Nagaland. Please read more about personalities, Nagaland personalities. What about Pishi Luau? Maybe questions can look tough. Question na kaya ako nang gani. Are the questions tough? Okay, so for P. Shiluao, he worked as in EAC. This is true in Assam civil service. He was the chief executive counselor of the Executive Council from March 1961 to November 1963. Yes, this is true. We have studied about this. Not that he was the CAC, and then we had other councillors like Hokishi, Chasuke. He served as the first chief minister from 1963 to 1966. That is also true. He was born on December 24, 1916 in Kohima. This is partially true. It is he was born in Mukoktung, not in Kohima. After his term as chief minister, he was appointed as commissioner, scheduled castes and tribes, government of India. This is also true. What is the answer for this? Which book was authored by Dr. Hokishi Sima?
The Emergence of Nagaland.
The answer is Emergence of Nagaland, which is true. But now let's look about the history of Dr. Hokishi Sima. He was the first Naga to be appointed governor of an Indian state, correct? Which is the state?
India.
Madhya
I think it is Himachal Pradesh, right? And he served as the chief minister of Nagaland from February 1969 to February 19. That is also correct. No, he served as the chief minister. He led a delegation of Indo-Soviet Friendship Association to Moscow. This is also true. If you have read the story, he was elected to the Rajya Sabha. He was elected to the Rajya Sabha. That is also true. The Nagaland University conferred a Doctor of Divinity to Hokishi Sima. This is false because this Doctor of Divinity was conferred by the University of Sirampur, not Nagaland University. Okay, because itu time tiro Nagaland University na ito. Nagaland University came on in 1994. Next, Dr. T. Au played for which famous football club? Answer: Mohan Bagan. Yes. Consider the following statements about Dr. T. Au. He played for both Maharana of Assam and Mohan Bagan. This is true if you read the story. He was India's flag bearer during 1948 Olympics. This is true. He captained India's football team in the 1948 London Olympics. True. See, he was also the captain. He was not only the captain but also the flag bearer. Ekta mono flag logina first day na. Ito contingent laga. And in the 1948 Olympics, they lost 1-2 to England. Is this true or false?
False. They lost to France.
Yes, they lost to France. Yeah, football dito, pala dito. Who is the first king scout from Nagaland?
Samuel Mezer Shekoze.
Yes, Samuel Major Sikosi. And what about the statements? He is the only Indian to receive the British Empire medal. He founded the Little Flower and Major School in Kohima. This is true. He was a pioneer of Scout movement in Nagaland. True. He was awarded the Silver Elephant highest award of the Scout movement from the President of India in 1987. This is true. He is the only India to receive the British Empire medal. I'm having a doubt. Okay.
So he's
So,
he's the first and only Indian.
British Empire medal pa to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, mukhang Second World War PGD nakamanukan member of alak padugi as ito. Member of British Empire. Paishe. Okay, let's maybe though this is there in the this is mentioned in his autobiography in a sense like not autobiography. This is mentioned in the biography of him in various books. But even now I'm thinking whether he is the only Indian or not. Let's research more on that. Now we go to yes, first Naga graduate ko na
Kibichus.
Kibichusa Kitya
1928.
1928 ulop tiri husin na ito to.
24.
1924 from which college? He started PA. And I think it's from a college in Kolkata. Okay. Cotton College ola. Nah, Cotton College to Kwati. No. Now let's go to Kivichusa. He founded the Democratic Party of Nagaland as well as the United Democratic Front. This is true. He was elected to the Lok Sabha in 1971. This is also true. He received a member of this why he received a member of British Empire medal for his efforts in the World War II. He also received this medal. We've studied about this. He is the first Naga matriculate as well as the first Naga graduate. Is this true?
No, sir.
He is the first Naga graduate. That is true. Is he the first Naga matriculate?
No.
No, sir.
Then who is the first Naga matriculate?
And Kiri.
Yes, N. Carey was the first Naga matriculate. He passed class 10 in 1918. Who in 1926 became the second Naga graduate?
Mayan Nokcha.
Ah, he must be rolling in his grave. Yeah, question number one.
B.
Kiri.
Yes, Lolenyo Shukri. No? This is the second Naga graduate. 1924, Kivichusa. 1926, 1924, Kivichusa. 1926, Lolenye. 1927, Mayang Nokcha. This three. Okay, so Mayang Nokcha is the third Naga graduate. What is the literal meaning of Mayang Nokcha? How people, it will be easy. But
Option
for
C.
other side,
Option C. One in the front of the
one
war
in the
with a sharp down.
front of war with a sharp down. Yes. So 1927, this is answer is Mayang Nokcha here, 16. Yes, Ranu Shaiza laga ko bito. She is the first and only woman to be elected to the Lok Sabha from Nagaland. True. She defeated sitting Chief Minister Hokishi Sima of the Indian National Congress in the 1977 Lok Sabha election. That is true. She defeated him. She brokered a meeting between her uncle Angamiza Bofizo and Indian Prime Minister Morarji Desai. This is true. She played a pivotal role in the formation of Naga Mothers Association and was instrumental in passing the Nagaland Liquid Portal Prohibition Act. This is also true. So all the statements are true about Ranu Shaiza. I Shaiza do ki la tribe bazo.
Oh,
Mao. Mao was there.
yes, sir.
Okay. Ranu Shaiza's husband is from what? Ziliang Angami Nagunaze. Anyone? No.
From the same.
The same community.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's consider about Nichilu Niki Haralo. She is from the Ziliang community, no? Her father, Dr. Haralongpi, was the first medical doctor among the Nagas. This is true. She was the first to join the IFS among the Nagas. True. She was the first Naga diplomat and first Naga ambassador of India. True. She was the ambassador to Sweden. It is true. The first three are true, but is number 4 true?
No.
She was the ambassador to which country then? Panama, Costa Rica, not Sweden. Okay, what about P. Kilam Sangla? She's the first Naga woman to be appointed member of UPSC. True. She's also served as acting chairman of NPSC. True. She received Padma Shri in 2014 in the field of literature and education. True. She initially worked as a lecturer in Kohima Science College. Ito kan tulog ko kiwi siya. So this is false because she worked as a lecturer in Kohima Arts College, not Science College. This is like UPSC type, so mataulo purawo. Okay, let's talk about this. The first published English novel by a writer from Nagaland was, what is the name of the novel? First English novel to be published. Yes, it was Naga Village Remembered by Historian Carey. It was published in the year 2003. Which of Historian Carey's works was awarded the Hindu Prize for the best fiction in 2015? Answer is Anyone?
A. Is it A?
No.
C.
When the
When the
river sleeps. Yeah, when the river sleeps got the Hindu Fiction Award. Which of the following is a historical achievement of Panuzet Jamir? First Naga poet to be no, I don't think she's a poet. First Naga woman to enter allied service. It was a lot.
B.
Option B. Option B.
Yes,
Chief Secretary as well as Loka Yukta member.
yes, 19 Lokayukta member no na Lokayukta. So she is the Lokayukta, right? Lokayukta ro nam Manula nam azo to title. So she was the Lokayukta. Now it is changed. Nin ni raluna pun nagjo ita Lokayukta.
Ino.
Yes.
Nin no, right? Which of the following novels were authored by Eastern Carey?
When the river sleeps.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Marley, the Rebel Matriarchy, Son of Thundercloud. All these are Eastern Carey. Last one is from This Hill's School Home. Kunaze. Temsela Ao. Yes. Panuze Chemelaga, you were telling me about this. First Naga woman in their eyes, correct. First woman to be posted of Commissioner of Nagaland, correct. First Chief Secretary of Nagaland, correct. Women. She was sworn in as Opal Lokayukta of Nagaland in 2023. Is this right or wrong?
Wrong.
This is wrong because she was sworn in as Lokayukta, not Opal Lokayukta. Rani Kadinglo, Chalo, we have studied a little bit about her. So she was a student of Haibu Jadunang, who launched a religious movement, then later became a political struggle against British colonization. This is true. She was arrested by the British authorities in 1932 at the age of 16. True. Jawaharlal Nehru gave her the title Rani after meeting her at Shillong jail in 1937. True. She was honored as a freedom fighter and awarded a Padma Vibhushan by the government of India. Padma Vibhushan. She was awarded Padma Bhushan. Okay? Padma Bhushan Dishi. So this is wrong. First Nagaledi to earn NDTS degree. Kunaze? Ituru nohobo? Ituru nohobo?
Option B.
A.
Answer
A.
is B. Okay, which of the following books were written by Temsila Ao? The Silk Calls Home, Songs That Tell. Also written by her, Once Upon a Life, written by her, Songs from Here and There. Also written by her, Peter Wormwood, written by Carey. So this is not right. Who is the author of Naga oral tradition? Oh, Naga
Temsela
oral
Ao.
tradition. Temsila Ao is the author of all Naga oral tradition. At what age Captain Nikizan ko Kenkrusi martyred? Kargil war lakadogla. He was 25 years, no?
24 or 5.
Too young to die. Okay, so Kutum. Okay. Consider the following statements about Captain Nikiza Kokenkrosi. Ito kanto iman detail to nazani wala pisibakto. He was born on July 15, 1945 in Nihirma village, Kohima district of Nagaland. That is true. He served as a teacher, Government High School, Kohima, from 1994-97 before joining army. True. He was given the nickname Nibu by his family in Nimbu Sahab in the army. True. He was posthumously awarded Mahavir Chakra. Yes, that is also true. Consider the following statements about S.P. Jamir. He was a member of the interim body and joint secretary of the Naga People's Convention, which is true. He served as chief minister 5 times during his political career. True. He was parliamentary secretary to the first prime minister of India, Pandit Nehru. It's also true. He served as governor of three states, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Odisha. This is also true. Okay, so for I mean, this personalities come to you read it on your own, no? And yeah, tomorrow we'll continue with the discussion on our schemes. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.